The University of California Cooperative Extension and the California Rangeland Conservation Coalition will be holding the 9th Annual Summit in Oakdale, Cowboy Capital of the World, on January 21st and 22nd of 2014. This year's theme is keeping rangelands and ranches viable for wildlife, wetlands, and water. Discussion on Tuesday the 21st will center around the economics of the cattle industry and the drivers and impacts of rangeland conversion to other uses. Participants will learn about how other states have found creative strategies to conserve rangelands. On Wednesday the 22nd, we will tour 3 local ranches and continue the dialogue from the previous day. What follows are brief overviews from Bill Fogarty, Paul Lickard, and Nicole Solari, our host for the tour. To join in the discussion, please join us in Oakdale on January 21st and 22nd. Registration information will be provided at the end of the video.
My wife Bonnie and I and our family have roots in the Oakdale area since 1856. My mom and dad had, and my wife Bonnie and I have, a great attachment to the rangeland that we either own or lease. Our family beef operation today is based on our local irrigated pasture plus winter rangelands in the eastern Stanislaus County area. Our family so far wants to stay with the open rangeland and the cattle business. We are part of the Rangeland Conservation Coalition because we have seen unprecedented conversion of rangeland to both housing and orchards. This has affected us through forced downsizing from conversion of rented grazing land. With the conversion around us, we are affected with a declining water table, increased traffic, and rural crime associated with high production agriculture. We've also been astounded by the amount of spraying and tractor traffic in the developing orchards next to us. The unprecedented demand for any local land you can put a tree on has basically stopped us from acquiring rangeland to keep our operation viable. We're about as small as you can get and still make a full-time living in this business in this area. While we like running cows, we also enjoy the openness of rangeland and the wildlife we share it with. With conversion, what was once grasslands providing habitat for hawks, grassland-based birds, wildflowers, and all kinds of wildlife species, is now a monoculture with lots of crows.
My dad, Bob Eichard, actually traded tree ground in the valley for part of this ranch because he liked the cattle business and that's what he wanted to do. We've ranched here for almost 50 years and now progress has brought the trees here. I certainly see the short-term benefits of almonds. The money is huge compared to running cattle, but I don't believe orchards are sustainable here for the long term. The groundwater here on the edge of the valley is very spotty and is dropping fast with all the deep wells pumping and more coming in the next few years. The rise in land values brought by the interest in growing almonds is good and bad. If you want to sell, it's great. If you want to keep ranching, it can be devastating if the IRS bases its estate tax on orchard value. My family is hopeful for the future here, whether we decide to farm some ground or not. We have raised our 3 sons here, and this is home to us. They all learned to ride and herd cattle here on these hills. They have learned how close to the land a rancher lives when hundreds of thousands of dollars ride on if it rains or even if the wind blows enough to pump water by windmill. Possibly their future will include growing trees like their grandfather did before them.
The Rodden family has been around since the gold rush and started in sheep and cattle. Upon the passing of my great-grandfather, Vernon Rodden, in 1987, the economic diversity of the cattle business wasn't enough for our expanding family. It was at that time that my father, Bill Jackson, undertook a study that determined that our farm ground could produce more than cattle and realized a diversification was needed to support the growing needs of the family. So in 1990, our first walnut orchard was planted. Today we still have beef cattle, but we also have almonds, walnuts, and wine grapes. Our plan for the future is to continue in this business by using our farm ground to its highest and best use.